The LSU Tigers, with this prolific offense centered around quarterback Jaden Daniels, who's been an absolute stud, only not in the Heisman race because of their record. They're looking to go into Bryant-Denny Stadium, Drew, and beat the Alabama Crimson Tide to keep their SEC championship hopes alive. Alabama is only 3-point favorites in this game. That was shocking to me when I first saw the spread. Normally, you only get 3 or 3.5 points just for being the home team. So I don't know what that tells you about how the bookmakers think this is going to play out, Drew. But this stat right here intrigued me. LSU is 11-1 in their last 12 non-home games. How much do you think that plays a factor in this matchup?
Yeah, Aiden, LSU is not a team that's scared to go into another team's stadium. I mean, this is a big name college football team. They played in a lot of these big time games. And LSU, of course, is one of the hotter teams right now in terms of offense. And that's going to carry well if you're traveling on the road. You got to be able to find ways to put up points if you're going on the road, and LSU is able to do that. Now, obviously, LSU's defense is a complete and total mess. I mean, they've looked okay the past couple of weeks, but they played Auburn Army, so take that for how you want to take it. But this is an Alabama team that, although they might not have the most elite offense in the world, the most explosive, if LSU's defense doesn't get things figured out, Alabama's going to be capable of putting up a lot of points, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Jaden Daniels in this offense to match that. And on the road at Bryant-Denny Stadium at nighttime, that's a tough ask. I don't care how good your offense is. Of course, in 2019, when LSU beat Alabama and Bryant-Denny, LSU had to put up, what was it, 46 points? Again, it's just a tough ask, and I think it's really going to have to come down to the defense for LSU in this one if they want to keep that away winning record looking the way it is.
Yeah, you talk about that LSU defense going against the Alabama offense. That offensive line wise, they have fallen short of expectations big time. They were top five PFF ranked O line, and they have not been able to protect Milrow in the pass protection game. However, when it comes to running the football, that O line has looked significantly better. And when you're talking about an Alabama team that is old school, like this is a clash of styles. Alabama wanting to run the football and control the clock, which I think that they will successfully be able to do against this bad rush defending LSU defense. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop the Alabama Crimson Tide run game. And if that's the case, how many possessions do you think Jaden Daniels is going to get? And behind a stellar Alabama defense whose front seven is phenomenal. They have one of the best linebacker cores that they've had in recent history, and that's saying something from a team that produces stellar middle linebackers. So this front seven is dominant. If they can stop the run, which LSU's offense is only one of two in college football that are both top 10 in passing and rushing. If Alabama can stop that rushing attack and make LSU one dimensional, it's going to be a lot easier to stop that LSU offense.
Yep, and Nick Saban's the one coach in college football you can always count on. If he wants to make a team one dimensional, he can do it. And not to mention that LSU beat Alabama last year. The whole revenge game factor is definitely a big thing. It's hard to beat Nick Saban 2 years in a row. It really is. And with Alabama looking the way that, just the stakes on the table, for the SEC West title, Alabama's been absolutely salivating at the opportunity to be able to go back and win the West and go back to the SEC title game. And so you're going to get Alabama's best shot in this one. And I think Alabama's kind of one of the hotter teams in college football right now. You could say what you want about how they looked at the beginning of the season against Texas and South Florida, but that's not the same Alabama team that you're seeing today. This is a team that's gotten better every single week, and this is a team that is not afraid to play in these big-time games. They've already played in a couple already against Texas and everything. So, Alabama's not going to be intimidated in the slightest by LSU this year. And it's going to be an intimidating crowd environment. It's hard to play at Bryant-Denny, especially at nighttime, as I've already mentioned. One of the main things that stands out to me, Aiden, is LSU's third down conversion percentage, number one in all of college football. That's a big deal. If Alabama finds itself, and this is some similar that they found themselves struggling with against Texas, you got to be able to get these high-powered offenses off the field on third down. You can't let them keep on and give them a chance to have another 3 plays, because, the more plays that offense is on the field, the more tired your defense is going to get, and the more pressure it puts on your offense, because if LSU starts scoring points, I don't think Alabama wants to find themselves in a situation where they're in a shootout by any means. I think that really puts the advantage in LSU's hands. Alabama's going to have to find ways to stop this team on third down, Aiden.
Yeah, Drew, and I think one of the things that's going to help them with that is, like I said earlier, if they can't stop the run, it will be third and medium, third and long. You don't know they're not going to run the ball. It makes it a lot easier to defend. And when you're talking about a Nick Saban coach defense, they're so multiple in what they do. They have 4 ways to defend one type of motion. So as far as that goes, I think that will be the case. If you can't stop the run and LSU's consistently getting in third and shorts, you're going to be converting. And that's that third down conversion rate. If you're staying in front of the sticks, if you're getting 4 yards every first down and 4 yards every second down, it's 3rd and 2 every time. That's a lot easier to convert than a 3rd and 6, a 3rd and 7, Whenever you're talking about this Alabama team, Drew, I agree. They had a big win against Texas A&M. They had a big win against Tennessee. This Alabama team is hot right now, and they are doubted. I mean, like, look at the spread of this game, only 3 points. I see Alabama winning by at least a touchdown. I know how prolific LSU's offense is, but people are underestimating Alabama's defense. Like I mentioned earlier, they have one of the best linebacking cores that they've had in recent history with a D-line that is absolutely star-studded. So they are equipped to stop the run. If that is the case against LSU, I don't see an outcome where LSU come out this game with the win.
Yeah, and just going off instinct and gut feeling, I mean, if you just throw away all the stats for a minute, and it just feels like Alabama just can't lose right now. Of course, that might change in the postseason or whatnot, but at the same time, you see Alabama get on these crazy runs, and you just look at them and just the eye test itself. I mean, it just literally looks like I don't know what team can beat Alabama right now that's on their schedule. And LSU's probably going to have the best chance to do it, but Alabama, I mean, they're just so well coached and they're finding ways to adapt all the time. I mean, when they were down 20-7 at halftime to Tennessee, and to come out and score that many points in a row, I mean, that's just a sign of a really, really good coached football team. And if they have that, as long as they have that, LSU's going to have to play 4-quarter, 60-minute football to even have a chance in this game. But with that being said, I just see a scenario where Alabama has an answer for LSU, even if it's just for a quarter or two. I think that's going to be enough to propel Alabama forward. And I agree with you, Aiden. I think Alabama can win this game by a touchdown, if not more, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a close game for a very long time, but I just think that LSU's defense is going to kind of revert back to its old ways, and Alabama's going to be able to score some points. And I just have a feeling that Alabama's defense is going to have just enough answers to slow down this LSU offense. I think LSU is going to have trouble, honestly, getting in the red zone and scoring touchdowns in this game. And we talk about it all the time. Obviously, if you get in the red zone, you got to score touchdowns in big-time SEC football, or you're just going to lose. That's just how it is. And unfortunately for LSU, I think that's going to be a scenario. I think Alabama's defense is going to be able to hunker down in the red zone. And I think Alabama gets the win, and I think they cover the 3-point spread.
Yeah, I got them covering too. I don't see an outcome where LSU is getting, as many possessions as they've been getting so far this season. Alabama is going to control the clock with the run game and keep the ball out of LSU's hands and really expose that defense and make LSU compete by, getting stops with that defense. So Jermaine Burton's been playing well. Alabama's passing attack, it's not prolific. They don't have Carson Beck back there throwing 300 yards a game. When they need to get it done, they get it done. When when Tommy Rees needs to call a play down the field, it's called and it's successful. So they get it done when they need to. So for all those reasons, I'm taking Alabama to win. I don't know how many possessions LSU's going to get. I think it will be close until the fourth quarter, where Alabama's just going to end up wearing on them. It'll probably be a 7 to 10 point victory for Alabama.
One last thing, Aiden. The over-under is 60.5. Do you have any opinions on that? What you would take in that?
Wow. Yeah. So off first initial opinion, I like the under just because, what we just said. How many possessions is LSU going to get? So with that being said, I really like the under. I have to do more research. When it's too obvious, sometimes that worries me,
Yeah.
But yeah, just off instincts, I like the under there.
I agree with you. I like the under in this game too. I mean, sometimes you get in these games where you get, two teams that could put up a lot of points on each other, but it's just such a big time game. The crowd's into it. Nerves are kicking in. Sometimes offenses just don't handle that pressure very well, and you get low scoring games when games you expect to be shootouts. And I think this is going to be another one of those kinds of examples. I think a lot of people are going to expect LSU and Alabama to both get in the 30s. And maybe they do. But at the same time, I mean, I've just seen this play out too many times where you get two offenses that can score points, but because of how big the game is, there just becomes a defensive battle, and it just becomes of who makes the least amount of mistakes wins, kind of deal. But with that being said, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. As always, if you guys could leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, all those things help the channel out tremendously. And for any preview prediction, obviously, we ask that you leave down below in the comment section things that we missed or things that you believe could be keys or turning points in the game for either one of these teams. So as always, do that for us, and we'll see you guys in the next one.